The Bear on FX is the best show on TV. Full stop. If you're not watching this yet, we're going to fix that right now. See you on the other side. I am absolutely stoked to be talking about The Bear on FX. This is going to be basically spoiler-free because I want you to enjoy it as much as possible. The Bear largely centers on Carmen Berzatto. Carm, who people lovingly refer to as Bear, is the youngest child in his family and went on to find fame in the fine dining world as a chef de cuisine, or CDC, at some of the highest-rated restaurants in the world. The series sees Carm forced to come home to Chicago and take over his family's failing restaurant after his older brother Mike committed suicide. The restaurant's a small sandwich place called The Original Beef, which Mike had been running. The restaurant is as dysfunctional and chaotic as the Berzatto family. Mike, in addition to being an addict, was terrible at running the business, and by the time Carm arrives, it's barely afloat. Unfortunately, the staff just sees Carm as Mike's little brother, and even though he's a world-famous chef, they have little respect for him or his desires to change the place and make it successful. The entire series revolves around Carm's attempts to reconcile his unresolved issues with his dead brother, his former life as a CDC, the hellhole he's inherited, and his attempts at dragging the crew kicking and screaming towards a better way. Because if he can't, the entire thing's gonna collapse and he'll have failed everyone. The cast is absolutely stellar, starting with the lead played by Jeremy Allen White as Carmy. White plays Carm with an angsty passion which makes it almost impossible to take your eyes off of him while he's on screen. You can just feel the weight of the impossible position he's been placed in and how at times it feels like there's no way out despite his expertise. The portrayal is masterful and he was rewarded for it, winning a Golden Globe for the first season of The Bear. Now, I'm assuming FX is calling this a comedy and that's why he won the award for Best Actor in a Comedy, but this isn't a comedy. Oh, it's not that there aren't times where it's brutally funny, because there are, but this is one of the darkest, most gut-wrenching shows on, and it's all worth it, believe me. One of the biggest obstacles to Carmy's attempts at dragging the beef forward is Richie Jaramovich, played beautifully by Ebon Moss-Bachrach. Richie is Carmy's dead brother Mike's best friend, and has been a fixture in the Berzatto house since they were kids. Richie was devastated by Mike's death, and hasn't gotten over it. To make matters worse, his friendship with Mike and the restaurant were really all he had in his life after his divorce and his wife taking his daughter away from him. Naturally, Richie wants nothing to do with Carm's plans and actively fights to hold on to the restaurant as it was, both to keep Mike alive in his mind and because without it, he'd be lost. Rounding out the top of the cast is Carm's sous chef, Sydney Adamu, played by Ayo Edebiri. Sydney enters the beef to stage, which is basically just working there for free for a few days as practice. What she hoped to find was the world-class CDC she'd known about in Carm, but what she actually finds is total chaos and a chef at his limits. Sydney recognizes immediately that she may be exactly what Carmy requires to make the changes he needs to make, and she finds a way to stick around. Edebiri is so much fun to watch in this role, and her natural cadence is the perfect reflection of the chaotic and boisterous nature of Richie, and that introspective but oftentimes volcanic nature of Carm. The rest of the cast is also exceptional, and by season 2 they allowed them to all shine, many in episodes with them as the lead. At first, I kind of questioned this a bit, but as the season rolled on, I found myself being glad they did that. Although Mike died off-screen before the series started, we get to see him from time to time in various flashbacks, and they have the great John Barenthal playing him. He's so exceptionally good that you spend most of those scenes wishing he'd have been a regular in some way. And on occasion, Oliver Platt stops by playing Uncle Jimmy, the best friend of the Berzatto kid's late father and a major investor in the restaurant. As you'd expect, he's a scene stealer every time he's on.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
I fucking hate when you call
Fucking
me
hate it when you don't
Rick.
answer your phone. Food's here, kiddies.
The second season is absolutely littered with guest appearances, but they never feel forced, which I'd been afraid of. There are at least 3 episodes in season 2 which are just incredible, but my favorite is the episode titled The Fishes. It's a flashback episode to when Mikey was still alive, Carm had come home for the holidays, and the Berzatto house is full as they prepare for Thanksgiving dinner. It is breathtaking. It's a little more than an hour of the most tense, chaotic, emotional, funny, frightening, and, unfortunately for me, pretty familiar family dinner you'd ever want to experience. I envy any of you watching this that hasn't yet seen this show or this episode, because you'll get to experience it for the first time and you're going to be blown away. The entire episode is full of guest stars, but Jamie Lee Curtis as the Brazzado's mom steals the show. I realize she just won an Oscar for her role in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but this may turn out to be her greatest role ever. Oh, and before I close out, let me add this quickly. Despite this being a modern show, there is no current thing mucking it up. Those of you that are familiar with my channel know this is largely what drives me crazy about modern entertainment, and I'm telling you, there's none of that here. At all. There's no talk of politics or issues. And while the cast is diverse, it's organically so. I mean, this is a restaurant in Chicago. It looks exactly like you'd expect that to look. Nothing is being forced, and there's no message more important than telling a great story. It's so void of any of that, you'll forget it's a modern production. Honest. So now's the best time to get caught up here. While FX hasn't yet to announce a season 3, it's a no-brainer for them. You'd expect it to drop summer 2024, but with the strike in Hollywood, that date's gonna drag on. Stop watching whatever shitty movie or TV show you're mad at right now and get started on The Bear. If you time it right, you could be watching that Thanksgiving episode right around the holiday season and being thankful your family isn't quite that crazy. Until next time, thanks for watching.